YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys a whole lot for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you. So guys, if you are new to my channel, if you have not subscribed, if this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, I will appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button. Please hit on the subscribe button, and then hit on the bell also on the side to get notified whenever I upload a new video. You can also follow me on all of my various social media platforms, on Instagram at Stylish Naija, on Facebook at Stylish Naija, and then on Pinterest at Stylish Naija. So all of these platforms I normally drop illustration notifications. So if you miss it on YouTube, you'll be able to find them on those platforms also. So follow me on Instagram at Stylish Naija, and then Pinterest and Facebook. Okay guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to cut this trendy and cape dress. That's what someone actually posted it on our group, or our sewing group on Facebook. So I'm going to be showing you how to actually cut it today. So if you want to register for my online classes, so you could see my number scrolling through the screen, just send me a message on WhatsApp if you want to register. And then if you want us to do any illustration, post it to the sewing group on Facebook at Stylish Naija Sewing Group. Okay, let's just get started. So for this kind of dress, so you could see that it is actually a gown, and then I'm going to be dealing with the top part of it. So now what I have here is a basic bodice of a top, basic bodice, that's a half bodice rather. That's what I have here. So I already have it cut out, just marked out. So I'm going to, this is the back piece, and then this is the front piece. So for a dress like this, you can use about 2.5 yards of fabric for it. So this is the top part of my body. So I'm just going to keep it close like this so you'll be able to see it. So the top part I'm using 17 inches. That's from the top, from the shoulder to the half length is 16 inches, and then you add your 1 inch for allowance. So what I have here, this is my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches, and then from this 7 inches, normally because it is a sleeveless, normally I'm supposed to use you could use for normal regular armhole, you could use between 8 and 9 inches, but because this is going to be an off shoulder, I don't want the armpit part to be too open, so I'm going to use 7.5. So I'm using 7.5. So I've marked it out. So I have the back and the front together. Here's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to just put down my arm. That's my armhole rather. So I have it here. If you check the dress properly, you find out that it is an halter neck. So because it is an halter neck and it is a cold shoulder, what we are going to do now, we're going to be reducing, for us to create out the neckline, we're going to reduce we're going to reduce the shoulder measurement. So what we're going to do for this, I'm just going to to mark 3 inches. So I'm going to use the width of 3 inches for this. I'm going to use the width of 3 inches both for the back and the front. This is 3 inches, and then the depth that I'm going to use, I'm still going to add a collar. So in case you want to add a collar, I'm just going to do it the way it is on the picture. If you are going to add a collar, you are going to use drop with about 2 inches. But if you are not going to add a collar, you can do your regular neckline. So I'm going to use 2 inches, and then I will mark it. I'm going to mark it around. So note, if you notice my 2 inches, you see I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch that I'm going to use to stitch my shoulder before marking. So put that into consideration. So for the back neckline, I'm going to use about 1.5 for the back neckline, or even 1 inch, depends on how high you want it to be. So I've marked out the back also. And then the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to be reducing, for me to create out my armhole, I'm going to be reducing my shoulder measurement. So for this, I'm just going to come like this from the neckline point. I'm going to reduce my shoulder. Depends on how wide you actually want in between the shoulder and the neckline. So that one, you are the one that will choose how wide you actually want it to be. So for mine, I'm just trying to check I could reduce to about I could use about, okay, that's, let me say, from the neckline I could leave about 2 inches. That's the width that I have on that neckline point could be 2 inches. Depends on what you want. You can actually take it into the neckline directly. So it depends on, it actually depends on what you want. Okay, so if you want the one that will enter into the neckline directly, you can actually do that. I think we should do that, or let's leave about 1 inch. Let's just leave about a little bit of an inch. Let's leave about 1 inch because we actually need the shoulder on this part. So from the neckline point like this, I'm just marking 1 inch, and then from this 1 inch, what I'm going to do, I already have my armhole. I'm just going to slant it into my armhole point like this. I'm going to slant it in, and then I'm going to measure to make sure that the armhole is not too wide. Okay, so I'm just trying to highlight it so you'll be able to see everything properly, the neckline. And then for this part, we're using 1 inch or 1.5, and then you blend it into your armhole part. Just blend it into the armhole. So I just want it to be obvious so you see it properly. So like I said, for this point, you can choose how between 1 and 2 inches, depends on what you want. And then from this point, I'm just going to blend it back, and then I would cut out. So I hope, so now this is my new armhole. So this part now, this initial armhole, this one is cancelled. So this is now my armhole now for this dress. So I'm going to cut it out. I'll cut the back and the front. So the back has a zipper. We will put that into consideration. I'll cut it like this, and then I'll cut like this into that neckline part, and then we'll cut the back neckline out first. And then we'll cut the front neckline. I'm just trying to blend it properly. Okay. Okay, so you see what we have. So the back, we're going to open up the back piece because of the zipper allowance. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to create our cape. So I'm going to keep the back piece on the side. Let's work with the front piece to create out our, the cape. We're going to cut out the cape now. So in cutting out the cape, I'm going to be making use of a pattern paper, so to make it easy. So what you are going to do, you are going to fold your pattern paper at an angle like this. Just fold your pattern paper, and then after folding, so I'm going to, you fold it like on a right angle triangle. So on my right angle triangle, I have about 26 inches. So you can just fold any way you want to fold. And then after folding, this is my this is the open part of my pattern. So let me just cut off the excess so it will not be confusing. So next thing I'm going to do now, this is my armhole part. I'm going to turn the armhole to this folded end like this. So I'll turn the armhole to this folded end. I'm just going to pick a point from this side. This is where I'm just going to take my neckline like this. I'll place it towards the end of the edge of this part like this, and then I'm going to I'm just going to trace out the neckline. It is a really simple technique. So I'm going to trace out the neckline like this. You just trace out the neckline. It is really simple, like I said, and then you trace out the shoulder part. So for the shoulder part, like I was telling you initially, so that's why you need to make the shoulder between 1 and 2 inches. So after marking the shoulder, you are just going to rotate it a little bit, and then you are going to trace out the armhole also. So you trace out the armhole. So after tracing out the armhole, so for the cape, you can measure how wide. So this is towards the sleeve part for the coat shoulder. So for this, I'm going to use about 4 inches. And then from this 4 inches, what you are going to do, you are just going to create like a curve. Depends on how wide you want to. You can just create it. You are just going. So you just use the dotted line from the neckline point. Just created it into my 4 inches part. So this is the armhole part. This is my shoulder, the neckline, and then this is the center. So for this center, you can actually change it after when you finish cutting. If you don't like the shape, you can adjust it to however you want. So I'm going to cut now, and then let's see what we have. We're going to, let me open up my bodice and then let's see what we have. So you're going to take it like this, and then you're going to place it like this. So you see the armhole. So you see there's a little bit of allowance. So because of that little adjustment that I made, that I turned it, so it's going to make you to have little allowance of about 1/2 inch that you're going to use to stitch. So you see how it is looking so beautiful. So you see it. So what I'm going to do now with this, now you're going to cut out a second one like this. You're going to cut out a second one that is going to sit on this side also. So for the center part, if you want to add a keyhole, so I'm going to show you how to add a keyhole to it, and then I'm going to show you, then I'm going to cut a second one and then place it. So for a keyhole, if you want to add a keyhole, so I've done keyhole necklines before. All you are going to do, you are just going to okay, so I'm just trying to find my chalk. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. So for the keyhole, you can come to the center of the neckline like this, and then you are just going to determine where you actually want to start it from. So for this, I'm going to leave about 1 inch on the neckline point. This is 1 inch like this, and then depends on how wide you want your keyhole to be. So for this, if I say let me use about 4 inches, you are still going to check from your shoulder to make sure that it is not entering into your cleavage. It depends on what you want. So I have about 7 inches. So that means the keyhole is going to stop just on top of the chest, just before the chest line. You know, chest line is usually 8. So here's what you are going to do for this part. Let me highlight it properly so you see it. You are going to determine how wide you want the keyhole to be. So most times you could use about 1 inch. And what you're just going to do, you're just going to draw something like an oblong. What I mean by oblong, from this point, it's going to come to this point. So this is the 1 inch. The 1 inch might be too small. So you can do 1/4 of an inch. And then from this point like this, you're just going to come like this. And then you come to the 1/4 on the center. And then you blend it towards this part. So I'm going to explain it more for you so you get it perfectly well. So this, between here and here, we use 4 inch. So this is the center. this from this center part, that's where you are going to add the 1/4, and then you are going to blend it to that point, and then from that point you are going to blend it into the 4 inches point also. So we are going to cut out now. Cut it outside, don't cut on the exact lines. So you can have this, you can actually make your keyhole, you can make it longer, you can actually blend it into the neckline. So it depends on what you want. So I'm just trying to do a safer one for you here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut this now. I'm going to transfer to my fabric. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces and then lay it on it for you to see how it looks like. Okay, so I finished cutting everything. So I'm just going to place my pieces together. So this is the back piece. So this is the zipper allowance. You join it together at the zipper allowance, and then you join the front and the back together on your shoulder. So you join it together on your shoulder, and then this is our cape. Here's how you are going to fix it. So the back neckline, so from the center of the back neckline, that's from one zipper allowance, that's how where you are going to fix, where you are going to fix from, and then it goes in like this and then comes into the neckline part. And then you take the second piece. So you see the second piece like this also. So it goes into the shoulder part like this. So you see the shoulder, and then it comes. So that, because so that was why I rotated, like I said. So for you to have this ease, and even that ease, you are still going to have it, because you know you actually cut it the same with your armhole without stitching your bodies already. So after stitching your bodies, because you couple your bodies, so you are still going to have that allowance that you added to your bodies. You are still going to have it around the armhole part. So if you used 2 inches for your body's allowance, you are going to have that 2 inches here. If you use 1 inch, you are still going to have the 1 inch here. So it depends on what you want. So at the end of the day, here is what you are going to have. Okay, so you see how it is looking now. So after assembling it, this is how it will look like. You're just going to stitch the shoulder and stitch this part, and then the armhole you stitch from the inside and then turn it and bring it to the side. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.